Hi, Karen. It's so wonderful to see you. It has been so long since the two of us sat down for a chat. Yeah, it's just really wonderful to see you right now, and also for the past hour and 45 minutes that we've been talking off pod.
Katie, as always, it is wonderful to see you. I'm so glad we got to catch up. Happy President's Day.
Oh God. I just vomited in my mouth. happy happy President's Day. Do you
Yeah.
have the day off?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I've been calling it First Ladies Day
Yes. Ooh,
to make myself feel better.
rebrand. Also, how is there not a First Ladies Day? There should be a First Ladies Day.
I mean, I recently had this conversation. Ooh, this is dark, but um the conversation eventually my workplace is probably going to end up having to write the like, wow, these fuckers are old story, right?
Mm,
I mean, you got two old ass men, no offense to you, old ass men, but running for president, right?
yeah.
And uh I have people that age in my life and I love them, but do I want them running the country? Of course not.
Nope.
And what it brought up for me was like, these are not the only old ass men in American presidential history. And that typically, especially in the past, if the president became incapacitated in some way, it was not the vice president who took over, it was the first lady who ran everything.
Really?
And so, oh yeah, I'm trying to remember. In fact,
Wait,
my
this is like an
coworker looked it
actual
up.
thing.
Oh yeah, I can't remember. I mean, I feel like Eleanor Roosevelt was running shit.
Yeah.
Um, my coworker looked it up. Like one of the presidents had a stroke or a heart attack or something in office, and like it is well documented. Like the last 6 months of his term, his wife was running the government.
My God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Hence, we should have First Ladies Day. I mean, also, we should have, I mean, Michelle Obama should have her own holiday, just period. And also, I mean, isn't all of March International Women's Month? So shouldn't all women have the entire month off to do whatever the fuck they want with full pay? I mean,
Oh
that's
my
another
God.
thing.
I mean, March 8th, International Women's Day,
Yes.
which is Rebellious Magazine's birthday. Happy birthday, Rebellious. And then,
Happy
yes, March
birthday.
is Women's History Month. Like,
Women's History Month, that's right.
yes, let's just chill and think about women's history for a month.
Seriously. But really, President's Day, what? I mean, that's like a big eye roll for me, but yeah.
Same.
Ay, ay, ay. So yes. Well, listeners, we hope that you enjoyed our Galentine's episode and had a very wonderful last week of love, whatever that means to you. Self-love, friend love, romantic love, just good feelings. that's that's all I got for that one.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to remember what did we do for Valentine's? Oh, MLB and I went to this Mongolian barbecue restaurant that we
Ooh,
like
fun.
in the suburbs, yes. And we're like, oh, nobody's gonna be. It's called Yummy Bowl. Which is
Nice.
so Indiana. We're like, nobody's gonna be at Yummy Bowl. Oh no, Yummy Bowl was packed to the gills on Valentine's Day night.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yummy Bowl is bumping on Valentine's
Oh
Day.
my God. Yummy
Wow, did
Bowl
you
is
have a
bumping.
reservation?
I don't even think they take them. In fact, I not only do they not take reservations, when we walked in, we were just like standing at the hostess stand waiting. And finally, one of the other guys waiting was like, oh, you know, you got to write your own name down.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. But yeah. Yummy Bowl does not have a resi system set up. No.
No OpenTable.com for Yummy Bowl. I love that it's called Yummy Bowl. That's
Oh,
amazing. Was
yeah.
it good though?
It was great. It's
That
delicious
sounds
always.
lovely. That's really fun. Yeah, Tyler and I, whenever we get like really emotional and don't know what to do with our lives, we order pizza. And so that's what we did on Valentine's Day. And our conversation, so like last, I guess it was before Valentine's Day, maybe like a week before, I asked him, I was like, hey, do you want to exchange cards? We never do anything for Valentine's Day. It's just not really our holiday. And he was like, well, I think the conversation went like, do we do that? And I was like, and I think that was the end of the conversation. And it wasn't even mean, it was, like, just an actual question, and I think we were, like, about to fall asleep when he asked that, and I think I fell asleep immediately after he asked. So it was just like open ended. So then I'm downstairs on Valentine's Day
Okay.
morning, and he comes in and he's like very sheepish in the kitchen, and he's like, um, I just want to check. Did you get me a card? And I was like, what? And he's like, because I didn't, and I can get one, but I didn't. And I was like, we had this conversation. And he's like, but we didn't have any resolution. And I was like, it's fine. And he's like, I want pizza. And I was like, me too. I'm like, that was it. Super romance right there.
Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, I'm telling you. Oh,
Yes. Yeah, coming to you in the theaters with a nice romantic comedy coming soon. No, that's just real life, people. That's my life. Yeah,
well, I mean, it's what companionship and family is all about.
it's true. It's true. That and Yummy Bowl, which is amazing. I'm so glad you had a nice time.
I will also add that Yummy Bowl is the least romantic place on earth.
Oh no.
Oh no, I mean that's why we are like, oh, ain't nobody gonna be at Yummy Bowl. I mean, it's in a strip mall in Greenwood, Indiana,
Nice.
across from the Kroger. Like, yeah, it's not the and it's like it's Mongolian barbecue, so it's one of those things where they give you a bowl, literally called a Yummy Bowl, and you take it up and you pile all of this shit in it yourself, and you leave it with the kitchen, and they cook it on the same grill as they cook everybody else's food, and then they bring it to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Peak romance right there. That's
There's
amazing.
when you were slapping raw meat and vegetables into a bowl. Yeah, there's nothing more romantic than that.
There's
It's just
nothing
beautiful.
wrong. Totally. And then you can go get some eggs at Kroger on your way home. Like that's winning. Yes. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know. I think some people do actually embrace Valentine's Day, and I love that for them. I really do. Like, I have one friend that I grew up with. She still lives in the like near the town that I grew up in Michigan, and Valentine's Day is her favorite holiday. And it's like it's so meaningful to her, and she makes a big deal out of it. And you know what? Good. Great. I'm happy for her. Genuinely. I really am. But it's just it's never been my jam. I mean, it's nice. Eh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember Sweetest Day?
Oh
Is
my
that
gosh.
even still a thing? Have we talked about that on the pod?
You said it like it's this extinct thing. Like do you remember VHS?
Do you remember Velociraptors? Like these all lived one day.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god. Okay, so I think Sweetest Day was in September, right? Because like I think or some like sometime in the
October?
fall. That is a made up fucking holiday. I mean, if I've
Oh.
ever heard of one. Like that although I guess
Oh.
there are a lot of holidays that are made up. Like the other day I was in San Francisco and I was walking on the beach and there were all these dogs that were dressed up like pizzas and like this woman had like pizza streamers like from rock to rock and I was like, "What's happening right now?" And she's like, "Well, it's National Pizza Day, don't you know?" And I was like,
Oh.
totally. I totally knew. Okay. And like you are really embracing it with your four dogs in pizza costumes. So I guess there are all these different holidays that I just don't know about. So Sweetest Day being one of them that I just selectively forgot, I think, at this point.
Oh, I mean, so a very quick cursory Google search reveals that October 19th,
Ooh.
2024 is Sweetest Day this year. And uh it's a holiday that is celebrated in the Midwestern United States, in parts of the Northeastern United States, Arizona, and Florida.
Oh,
It's
what?
so weird. Yep,
Okay, so I guess you like I guess the people in Indiana celebrate it, but Oregon has never heard of it. Okay.
that's probably true. I feel like you should ask somebody
I
there.
I should. They'd be like, "What? What are you talking about? Is that a
I mean,
Midwest and Northeast holiday? Also Arizona?"
in
Like
Florida, I
in
mean,
Florida.
let's see if we can get somebody to buy you some stuff. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't get me a sweetest day gift.
God damn. We're done.
Thought we were
Over.
friends.
I thought we were friends. Oh my god. I mean, really though, holidays. Like I just that's a whole nother pod, Karen, because I feel like there's a
Yeah,
lot to say about holidays.
I agree. I mean, we've had some highlights. We've done a Halloween special, at
True.
least one. New Year's. I don't even, I mean, who knows?
Right.
Galentine's Day, of course.
Valentine's Day. Yeah, I feel have we done I think we've talked about how 4th of July should not be a holiday. I think that's been discussed.
Oh God. Yep.
Whew. Yeah. Okay, so seamless segue, here we are. So so today's topic, I'm not sure how we describe it exactly, but
Mm.
it came about when we were talking off pod about the idea of being visible and about like kind of putting ourselves out there in a visible way for people to seemingly have opinions about, I guess. I don't know. That's kind of the dark
Mm.
part of saying that. But like, yeah, I guess I'm like nervous to say this because, but you know what? Whatever. It doesn't matter. A lot of the people who are listening to this don't know about this. And so I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag. But a couple weeks ago, well, I guess it was more than a month ago now, I went up to Portland and I did a photo shoot with a friend of mine and it was amazing. And the photo shoot is very important to me because it had a lot to do with the fact that, I'm coming up on my 1 year anniversary of my hysterectomy and I'm really embracing my body in a different way. And I'm actually able to feel like I am not afraid of my body as much as I
Mm.
used to be. And there's just a lot of deeper meanings. And so I ended up going to this photo shoot and it was really wonderful. And I think I'm going to be showing some of these photos on Instagram and explaining the story behind them and like why they're important to me and why I even want to be visible with them. But I'm fucking terrified, Karen. And I know that they will solicit opinions, and that's fine because people can have their own experience, but it's also terrifying because I'm a person in the world and like afraid. And so I think the other thing is it's like, so that's one piece. And the other piece is that I have been thinking a lot about writing again and writing maybe
Mm.
publicly. I'm not sure what that means yet. I used to write a newsletter for a long time and I haven't done that in years. And I don't know. I think I've been pretty internal in terms of like my thoughts and feelings about things. Like, yes, I know we have this podcast, but this is like a slice of a sliver of a slice on top of a piece of dust that is on top of the glacier that is my life type of thing. And so like I like this is like, you know, it's yeah. So it's scary sometimes to put yourself out there. And I know you've been putting yourself out there too. So I'd love to know what's been coming up for you in this topic.
Well, I first want to say how excited I am for you. And I love that you love the photos and that you even embarked on this journey. And
Thank you.
not everybody would have the nerve to do that. It says a lot.
Thanks, Karen. It was terrifying, but fun actually, and good and
Oh my
liberating
gosh.
and growing and all the things.
I'm so glad. I can't wait to see them, whatever you decide to post. And I also, one of the things that popped into my head as you were talking about people's opinions is like, I sometimes, not all the time, sometimes I'm able to listen to someone's opinion about something I'm doing or something about me and think like, your opinion of me is none of my business.
Mm,
You get to think that. You go on ahead and think that. I don't have to internalize it. It doesn't have to have anything to do with me, really.
yeah.
It's your opinion. And congratulations, good for you. Like,
Yes.
and so I say that to invite that potential mindset around people who might have something to say, like, how nice for you that you have an opinion and you can keep it.
Yes.
Great.
Totally. I love that.
Yes, but yes. So I have this project I've mentioned before called the Feminist Writers Society. Oh boy. And no, I don't have a life and no, I don't have any free time. Somebody recently asked me that. They're like, just listing all these things I'm doing. It's just like, no, I don't have a life here. So I can do all these things. And I'm mainly right now trying to grow through Instagram, like posting on Instagram. I started an account in November and have been posting about random things, like all kinds of like posts that are promotional posts, posts about writing and about creativity and quotes. And I'm just throwing a bunch of things at the wall. And
Yes.
one of the things I started doing is making these like reels, like where I'm just talking to my camera phone and espousing about something like the way we do on this podcast, frankly. And it's mortifying, of course, because I look at them and I just, like I was saying earlier, like I can see all my pores, my hair looks weird. Why didn't I wear a different earring? Like, write all these things. And I am pushing myself because I don't see enough of me on the interwebs. Like, I am a middle aged Black lesbian. And where else are there middle aged Black lesbians out making content? We're just not. I mean, I know people are, but it's just been important to me to like put myself out there to just be like, we exist, we are here, we are doing shit. This obsession with youth is super annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And that we also have our own culture. And oh, by the way, we make all of your lives possible.
Yes.
We are funding so much of the shit that you children are doing right now.
I'm celebrating you, Karen. I really am. I have to say every single time I see one of your reels, I'm like, "Fuck yeah. Hell yeah." Like it's like I mean, just from an outsider's perspective, you don't seem nervous at all on those reels. You are so confident and like just I mean, it's so beautiful to watch you talk about different things and like it's just it's I just love it so much like the one that you posted about Tracy Chapman and how you started crying and then it's like oh my god, like that's just so beautiful and I so appreciate it and I just think what you're saying in terms of not seeing yourself out there, it's so incredibly powerful and yeah, I think it's also really good for people to know that there is a person behind the person that is putting something out. Like
Yeah.
that like not everyone even though if they present in a certain way might like they are still a person behind that way or that does that make I don't know if I'm explaining it right.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, I feel like we make, I mean, not that we're you and I are public figures, but you know, you forget that like celebrities are humans with children and lives and the right to privacy and struggles and all the things, right? And
Totally.
yeah, and I think it's easy also to criticize people on social media because they're not real people.
Yes, totally. Totally. How has it felt for you? Like, how has the experience of actually putting yourself out like that and being visible and putting them on, like your posts on Instagram and the reels, like, how has that felt for you?
You know, it's really it's interesting because I just started doing it without allowing myself to think too hard about it.
Nice.
Right? Like I think, and I'm way behind on YouTube, so listeners, I know. But like I think like putting our videos on YouTube and realizing there are videos of me on YouTube like during the pandemic, like doing panels or whatever. And like, yeah, it's not as scary as I think it would have once been. And yeah, like I said, I just haven't been letting myself think too much about it. I have realized though that like very quickly realized how much fucking work it is to be these influencers who I watch all the time on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Like I get why that's a job. Like my 60-second reel, I went over the last I think the Tracy Chapman one is the first one that like I wasn't careful about the timing. I just talked and it was like 2 minutes. Katie, the amount of time it took me to figure out how to split that into different segments so that I could post on Instagram and all that. And I was like, oh my God, how do these girls fucking do this?
It's like
I
their whole
no,
job.
it is a whole job.
It's such a whole job. Okay, there's so much that you're saying that I like am trying so hard to hold on to because I want to like talk to you about every single sentence because like, what you just said about how you're not thinking that much about it. Like that is gold to me because like there is something I was driving around today and I've been thinking about like okay, how do I want to put these photos up? Do I care about people and what they say? Yes, of course. And am I thinking about it too much? Probably. And like then I'm like, but what if I didn't and I'm not even saying like didn't give a fuck, like, oh, like whatever. No, it's like, what if I actually didn't care about other people's responses to things and I just did the thing that I want to do? It kind of goes back to like the intention that we talked about in the beginning of the year that like and I just didn't care. Like I just it's like I did it for me, not for
Right.
them. Like I didn't like always think about like what's going to present well or what's going to like what is feeding me. Like it seems like I mean, I might be projecting, but like doing those reels, it sounds like it's feeding you or doing the feminist writer society is feeding you and it's like that is the energy that you're putting out there which then makes it interesting to listen to and to watch versus thinking like okay this is how my like appearance is going to look a certain way to a certain person or whatever but like I think it's so hard to filter out that like to take out that piece of like other people's perceptions of you and just actually get in even in touch with that part of just what you want to do. Am I just
Yes.
talking here? I don't
No, totally.
know.
It totally makes sense. And I think there is that, like the joy of doing it. Like it is fun to do. Like they are fun to do because I obviously we have fun, you and I have fun doing this, having these conversations and thinking these things through and talking them through. And it is a little bit of that, even though it's just me for hopefully 60 seconds, so I don't have to fucking cut anything. And so it's that, it is fun. And it is also that, like, I hope somebody sees this and thinks, like, oh, that's totally true. Or like, yeah, I am gonna try the thing. Or, I always love it when people, and you have this experience so much more than I have, like people being like, you know what? I read your whatever, I heard your whatever, and I decided to apply for the thing. Or
Hmm.
I decided to ask for a raise. Or then in the next meeting, when Bob from accounting talked over me, I cut him off and I said, actually, Bob, I'm not done speaking. Right. Like I just love those moments of like, like someone receiving whatever message it is that we're trying to deliver.
Yes, I love that too. I love that so much. And I feel like you and I'm sure get that on equal measure. It's like whenever anyone says that to me, which hasn't happened that many times in my life, but when it does, I'm like, oh, what? Like what? I'm not speaking into an ether. I think the thing is it like goes back to like you don't know who you're affecting
That's right.
by being your actual self. Like
Yeah.
it's like you don't know who you're impacting and it's like it's not and it's like if you're only doing it for yourself and doing something that feels good, the likelihood that you're going to positively impact someone is way higher than if you think, okay, well, this is actually what the Instagram algorithm wants or this is what, five of my friends are going to say that's so great, like or whatever it is because it's like no, like your brand of whatever it is like if it's true to you, it will be true to other people. Yeah,
Yes. Ooh, I love that. That's beautiful.
it's hard to remember that though. Because it's
Oh my
like we live
gosh.
in the world. Like it's like we live in the world and everyone's judging everyone at all the time. I'm included. And like I forget sometimes. Like I actually okay, there is this one thing. I feel like I might have caught you off, Karen. I'm sorry. Were you gonna say something?
No, no, no. I was going to mention something, but I'm writing it down to myself
No,
to
no, no,
bring
no.
it.
Please, please. Go please keep going because I'm going on a tangent.
Oh, all right. I was just, as you were talking, I was thinking, do you ever watch Tabitha Brown?
Oh, I love her.
I mean, we all love Tabitha Brown. Well, and like she's done a million different things. One of the things that I loved, so she for a minute in LA had opened a vegan restaurant
Oh,
called Kale My Name. And the original Kale My Name was a half a mile from my apartment, a half a mile from me and Ginger Buddha and Americana Angel in Chicago in the Albany Park neighborhood. And she had gone in there. She had some project in Chicago and she went in there and like fell in love with the restaurant, fell in love with the owner, and literally opened one in LA.
that's amazing.
Wait, that was a tangent anyway. That's my personal connection to Tabitha Brown. But she recently reposted the video of hers that went viral that really skyrocketed her,
Oh,
which I didn't know anything about. Like she was like starving actress, driving Lyft. This was like 6 or 7. It was not like that long ago. Maybe it was longer ago than that. But like, so she just started posting videos to YouTube at the time. YouTube, right? When that was like the thing. Not
mm-hmm.
YouTube, Facebook. It was Facebook.
Oh,
It
got
wasn't
it.
even YouTube. It was Facebook. And just like of her in her Lyft or Uber driving around and her experiences and her thoughts. And this viral video was her eating this like tempeh lettuce and tomato sandwich or some sandwich, vegan sandwich at Whole Foods. And she's enjoying the hell out of the sandwich. And it went viral. And then the sandwich started selling out. And
Oh,
they had to expand the markets they were selling it in and all these things. And it is like the thing that like I said, like propelled her career.
wow.
And it's just like she, like I said, reposted it and like was reflecting on like she just got herself to keep doing it. Like she was posting these videos, nobody but her mama was watching them, right? Like it was just like she's just like, I just feel a calling to do it and I'm going to keep doing it and I'm going to speak my truth and I'm just going to be myself and trust the process. And that's what I think of when you were talking about that. Like, yeah, it's an example of somebody who was doing exactly what you're describing.
I love that so much. Also, if people don't know who Tabitha Brown is, just Google her. Just Google her. Like she's on every single platform. She's like the most positive person. Like I haven't seen her on Instagram in a while and I think it's just because my algorithm. Hopefully like Instagram is hearing me right now and then I'll search for her and then they'll just constantly, bring her up.
Oh,
But
yes, I'm sure when we go on right now, there she
yes,
is.
there she is immediately. But yeah, I just love that so much. And it's also like, I'm sure she wasn't thinking when she was eating her vegan lettuce wrap that like this is what's going to catapult me to stardom. It's just, she was just being herself. It's just like she was putting herself out there, like you say. And like, it's the consistency of putting yourself out there. And it's like, even if your goal is not to like super stardom, it's just, I think there's also something so invigorating, at least for me, when I put my real self out there and like I don't filter. And I think that there's something to that, like where I'm like, it's harder to, I don't know, like it's harder to, well, I guess that's not true. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I was just gonna say like it's harder to like assassinate someone who is putting themselves out there because it's not actually true. Like that's like
Mm,
people are mean no matter what. Like that's like
correct.
totally a thing. Um, but yeah, I think it for the person putting themselves out there, at least for me, it feels better when I'm not trying to contort myself to be what I think other people will find more palatable.
Yes, exactly. And we right now have the luxury of not having giant platforms yet, and we don't have to care about, oh, I only got this many views or this many views. Like I definitely follow people on Instagram who are like, I have this many Instagram followers and this many of you saw this thing I posted. But like the frustration of
Yes.
people for whom the algorithm has, you know, yeah, you don't want to have to be dependent on it.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, totally. And it's like, and I know that some people do build their businesses on Instagram. And when the algorithm changes, I mean, that can be catastrophic for them. And that happens all the time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, as we build our empire, Karen, hopefully the algorithm will build with us and it will be totally fine. But, but yeah, back to like what we were talking about in terms of like there's a person behind the person who is putting themselves out there and to be like kind to that person. I
Mm.
recently, this is a total tangent, but I recently went through a 2-day hip hop dance training, instructor training.
Oh my God,
And it
yay!
was so much fun. And I am going to do this audition. I'll talk about it in a later
God,
pod, but it's going to be like
my
a huge
God.
part of my life for the next like 6 weeks. And I'm really excited about it. But what was really interesting is there were only 10 people in this training, and there were three people that own the dance company. And these three people are people that I've gone to their classes before. And they're amazing. And like they always come with like amazing energy and like like they I mean, it's just that's the reason I was there. It's like I find them really magnetic. And one of the things they were talking about was like the mental health of teachers and how,
Ooh.
like, when you become a teacher, like, there is etiquette for, like, it's like you become more aware of like how people show up for you and how, like, like people in the class, like students show up. And they were like, just so you know, like now that you're going through this training, when you're a student, these are some of the things not to do, which is like one of the things was basically like don't be a dick. I mean, like it's like, which, I
Hmm.
think it's like what was really wild though, Karen, is like I have definitely come into classes before with like a sour look on my face or just like not in a good mood or whatever. And like obviously everyone has their days, but like, and I'm never overtly mean, but I think it's like when they were talking about how like instructors are people too, like they literally said those words and they were like trying to kind of like explain how like sometimes students might not actually treat you like a human because you're the person at the front and like it sounds like you have everything together and like you're presenting in a certain way, but like oh no, they actually are human beings that like sometimes have bad days or like they try really hard or the students don't show up properly. And like the point of me talking about this is that I was shocked when they said they were
Wow.
humans. I was shocked. I'm not even kidding. My mouth. I actually, like, we were in a dance studio, so I could see myself in the mirror opposite to me, and my mouth was actually wide open. And I was like, oh shit, like I need to close it because I was like, this has never occurred to me, and I felt like such an asshole. I was like, it has never occurred to me that how I show up and how I am in these dance classes, like I just think of these women as like these like, oh my God, like they're so amazing. And like this must be totally second nature for them. And they never practice because they're so incredible. No, they practice for hours a day. And it's just, I don't know if that's related to what we're saying, but I think it might be like in terms of just
Yes.
like having compassion for people who are really trying and putting themselves out there. And like, it's not that I didn't have compassion for those teachers previously, but like now I'm like, oh shit, like how you show up matters. And like these people,
Yeah.
it's hard to do the thing.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so badass. I can't wait to hear more about that. Oh my God.
Thank you. It was really fun. I'll tell you all
Oh,
about it. I'm
oh my
still
God.
kind of formulating a plan in my mind. So TBD.
Yes. I think it's related. And I think it's also related to the whole Brene Brown man in the arena thing.
Yes.
Like, who you accept feedback from. Like, people who have never put themselves out there, who have never, yeah, who have never extended themselves, never been vulnerable in that way, never done the thing. Are you really going to take criticism from those people?
Totally. Totally.
Super easy to sit on the sidelines and judge. I don't care what you think.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know. And I feel like I was one of those people. It's not that I was one of those people, but I kind of was adjacent to those people. And like I
Mm.
think I'm just like, "Oh, I got to check myself too." Like I'm not someone on a big high horse talking about all this creativity bullshit and then being like, "Oh, wait, my dance teacher isn't a person?" What? Like how like I walked home. I didn't walk home. I walked to my car to go home and I was like shit. Like I mean it made me a better person to honestly
Oh,
have that experience because I was like this is a good reminder. I don't know. It's insidious. It's like everywhere.
man, that is huge though. Like, oh, I mean, this is a whole other podcast, but I just, what that brought up for me is like leading meetings, and
Yes.
people hate meetings, hate being in the meeting, hate all of it, and just bring this super stank face energy to it. And it's just like, you guys, this is why this meeting sucks. You are why this meeting sucks because you suck. It's
Yes.
like, I'm doing the best I can up here, but your energy also matters. You are not just the recipient of this, you are also a participant in it.
Totally.
Yeah. Mm,
Yes, it just is helpful to have more compassion for
yeah.
all of the situations that you find yourself in. And
Yeah.
like it's just so helpful. I've definitely had a stank face when I've gone into meetings and been like, "Oh god, this facilitator sucks." And it's like I try to like, kind of smile, but then I'm like, I'm going to check my phone right now. They know I'm checking my phone. And that's rude, Katie. So to speak to myself in the third person, which I never do. But anyway, the point is
Oh,
yeah,
God.
it's good to just check yourself like this.
Oh, God, I'm sure you're discreet about it. I mean, you're not like in the meeting.
Like taking an actual selfie in the meeting. Like,
Oh my
good
God, that would be
angle.
amazing if you're like,
Lighting's perfect. Yes.
oh,
Oof. Okay. So yeah, well, this is really fun, Karen, and I think we
yeah.
covered a lot of ground and yeah, I feel humbled by like explaining that I can be a dick and I just own it.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah.
You are a lovely, luminous human. And don't you forget it.
Thanks. You too, Karen. Lovely, gorgeous, luminous, vibrant human. Okay, well, this was fun. And thanks everybody for listening. We will see you all next week.